Sleep is one of the most underutilized edges in trading performance. Most traders neglect it and never give it the respect it deserves. But tomorrow's results begin the night before. This is where the mind rests, the body resets, and your emotional spectrum returns to neutral. The calm replaces chaos, clarity replaces impulse, and you wake up prepared and ready to perform for the next day.
Quality sleep is part of your edge, whether you like it or not, whether you've realized it yet or not. So many traders, pardon the pun, sleep on this topic and do not give it the respect it frankly deserves. To me, high quality sleep is definitely part of that holistic approach to being a brilliant professional in terms of trading. And it helps so many more things in your trading than you realize. So today's going to be in sort of 3 parts. Number 1 is why sleep is so important and what's probably going on at the moment in your life that's actually affecting your results and having a very negative spillover on your psychology, especially when it comes to being a brilliant operator of your system. Number 2 is those sorts of things with traders specifically. How can then we start to work on them? What can we put in place? And number 3, once we have fixed those things, how can we then use it to enhance performance, okay? This is very much a psychological driven video today because a lot of the time, so many traders, strategically, they're okay, but they're awful operators, they're awful managers of their system. So what are just some of those things initially why so many traders suck at this, right? Poor sleep leads to poor regulation, poor management of that emotional spectrum. If you have been with me for some time, you'll know I bang on about, yes, we can't switch our emotions off, but we want to aim for that level-headed emotional spectrum, that middle ground. We don't want to be greedy, we don't want to be overzealous, we don't want to be overconfident, but we also don't want to be depressed, down in the dumps, anxious, playing the victim, and outsourcing our poor mistakes on the market and blaming someone else. We want to be in that middle ground. Poor sleep means you're getting really poor regulation of that emotional spectrum, okay? Again, it can lead to a lot of increased impulses, okay? So what I mean by this is when you're tired or when you're overstimulated, okay, when you have low melatonin, it can lead you to not think as systematically. It can lead you to be brain fog. I'm sure you've all heard of that term. And that means it can lead you to a lot more impulsive decisions where you see something that looks familiar to you on the chart. So you go, yep, I'm jumping in. When actually in hindsight, when you look back on it, you go, ooh, that wasn't quite there. That wasn't quite right. And sometimes it's just the smallest of details, but that makes a massive difference to your overall monthly and quarterly P&L. You can't overlook that. Poor focus, which kind of comes into that similar thing like we've just said. You're missing details that you can't afford to be missing. And again, it's about nervous system, right? We're about being brilliant operators. Your nervous system, just like your physical muscles, your body, it repairs during the night. That's its recovery time. So if you've gone to bed overstressed, overstimulated, and you're having a very, very poor night's sleep, you haven't pressed the reset button. It means you go into the next day with some of those bad habits still. You're still thinking about some of those poor mistakes you made. It's a really, really bad negative spillover, okay? So I want to talk about melatonin first, okay? Because all of the things at the moment that we're going to discuss really limit melatonin. Melatonin is kind of like one of your powerhouse hormones, right? If you've got good high amounts of melatonin and you're enhancing for melatonin production, it helps so much when it comes to the things we're going to talk about later to make you a brilliant operator, both on the charts and up here, okay? So most traders, as I've written here, most traders are underfueled, overstimulated, undermoved in terms of physical exercise, and they're constantly stressed with heightened emotions like a roller coaster. They have a winning trade, they're really happy. Their next trade's a losing trade, they're down in the dumps. Right. And to us professionals, we know, right, of course you're gonna have winners, of course you're gonna have losers. And again, it's about that middle spectrum, whereas they're like this, right? And the more over caffeinated you are, okay? If you're having coffee, if you're having stimulants, especially after sort of midday, that's still affecting you. That's still in your system at nighttime and it affects you more than you know, okay? Again, a lot of traders, all day screen use. You scalpers, you day traders watching this, you are notoriously awful for this because your screen time is through the roof, okay? It's a high stress environment typically when you're unprofitable as well because again, you're failing to manage those emotions. And a lot of you, again, lack physical exercise. For me, as you've seen on other videos and things around the law of detachment, physical exercise is huge for so many reasons as I've discussed in previous videos. Lack of physical exercise, again, leads to really affecting that melatonin in terms of production. And again, then you're not as tired when you go to bed. You're overstimulated, you're stressed, you're thinking about the mistakes you've made earlier. You can see how it all comes together really, really negatively and affects performance. It really does. So it's something traders need to think about more, okay? And as we move on now as to how we fix it, you're going to like this because there's some simple changes you can make that will easily start having a nice positive spillover. So how do we improve? How do we fix it? How do we improve? Now I've made you aware of it. 2 types of sleep ideally we want to optimize for: deep sleep and REM sleep. The first they're both important for different reasons, as we'll come on to. Deep sleep you typically get in the first half of your nighttime, your first half of your sleep. And we want to make sure we're getting lots of it. The reason for that is because firstly, it's to do with that physical repair element, okay? So the physical stress we place on our bodies each day, there could be gym for me, speaking from instance, it's that type of repair side for your body. Really, really important, okay? The REM sleep, which is where we're going to talk a little bit more about, is emotional regulation time, okay? And I've already touched on some of those points from earlier. If you're not getting enough of both, but especially REM sleep, again, you're going to wake up feeling almost groggy, hungover, even if you've not drank. You know the feelings I'm on about. You wake up feeling like you barely had any sleep, even if you have. Some people have, 5-6 hours and they think that's good, and they still wake up feeling like crap, sloggy, sluggish, slow, feeling like they've been hit by a bus, right? I'm sure you're resonating with that sort of feeling, okay? Like I said, as if you've got a hangover, even when you've not drank. And that's because, again, the REM sleep, you're not getting enough of it. And that's your mental reset. That's your mental clarity, right? That's where the nervous system, that's where you get that lovely softening, lovely reset button push. So you can wake up feeling so much more fresh, clearer, more clarity, and you're organized in terms of up here for the day, okay? Instead of feeling like absolute death when you wake up, okay? So ideally, we want to be getting around 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I'm realistic, right? At our ages especially, I'm not going to get 10, 11, 12 hours sleep. It's not going to happen. I like to get on with my day. There's lots I like to accomplish, right? But I also know if I'm getting 2, 3, 4 hours, I'm not going to get much deep sleep, if any. I'm not going to get much REM, and it's going to be crap, okay? My sleep score is going to be really, really bad. So in terms of evidence and the data out there, 7 to 8 hours gives you enough time to get that deep sleep in there as well, is a bit of an optimal time, right? So even if you go to bed quite late, say 11, that's still manageable to get 7, 8 hours, right? For me, I'm a bit more 9:30, 10 o'clock-ish, okay? Just because I like to get up a lot earlier. I'm such an early morning riser. It's quieter, it's more peaceful. My phone, there's no notifications going off. I love it. And I can just do my prep and I can do what I want to do with no other sort of mental stimulus, if you like, okay? So how can we fix this? Right, number 1, we come on to commitment. And this is going to sound a little bit wet and a little bit daft, but hear me out with this. I want you to commit to saying, right, I'm going to commit to going to bed on time at this time every single night. Now, there will be exceptions if you're out with friends, you're socializing, you've gone out for dinner, whatever. But 5 times out of 7, 6 times out of 7 days a week, you are committing that you're going to go to bed and you're going to show up, just like you would show up on time for a date, right? Just like you would show up on time and prioritize timing for so many other things in your day-to-day life, right? If you're a New York trader, you turn up to New York session bang on time. I want you having the same commitment to your bedtime, okay? That way, you stand a much better chance at maximizing, like I said, the duration element, the 7 to 8 hours, okay? And that deep sleep. Next is screen time, okay? Screen time and the blue light, especially for a lot of us traders, we're always on screens, as I mentioned earlier. Blue light is a big, big killer of that melatonin, okay? Big killer. And this is why something like this, you can get yourself a pair of glasses. These are blue light glasses. They're only from Amazon. They're cheap as chips. You don't need anything special, okay? But you need something that's going to do the job. So again, I'm realistic. I know me saying to you, get off your screens all day is not realistic sometimes this day and age, okay? Yes, we want to take regular breaks. That is realistic. But using something like that with the glasses is so much better, okay? Because then it means when you do come to bedtime, you're going to be less stimulated. There's going to be less strain, okay? So screen time's massive, and cutting that down at least a couple of hours before you go to bed. For me at the moment, I'm on about an hour and a half. Because I update the community in the evening with sort of the evening breakdown, the midweek breakdowns, I film them about sort of 7:30, 8 p.m. when we've seen most of New York calm down and the effects of that. So I try and put my screens to bed about an hour and a half before I go to sleep. So again, I'm not getting as much exposure to that blue light. Next, protection, which I've kind of already just gone on to in terms of glasses, because I'm realistic. Okay, so that ties in really, really nicely with screen time. Now, Andrew Huberman, a lot of you, I'm sure you've heard of him. He talks about the 4-3-2-1 rule, okay? So a lot of the time he refers to that 4 and 3 being around try not to eat at least, 3 hours before bed, okay? Try and allow a 3 to 4 hour gap of not overeating, excessively sort of having fluid intake either, because that again can affect. If you're still massively digesting food when it comes to going to bed because you ate an hour before you went to sleep, this again is going to affect the amount of proper high quality sleep that you get. Again, things like the phone rule we've talked about come into that 1 and 2 section where you're putting away screen time, you're putting away your phones, and you're giving yourself that sort of rest and digest and that calming, okay? So again, a lot of people, just by moving your meal time in the evening forward, so it could go from 7:30 to say 6, can make a difference. It's only an hour and a half, but it can make a difference. And you've got to play with these things. You've got to experiment with these things, because a lot of the time, certain things you might already be doing quite well at, and other times you're really lacking in just a few of these departments. And you make small changes to those based on this video today can make a massive, massive difference, okay? Hydration and food, we've kind of already talked about. Again, try not to have big meals just before bed. Try not to eat a load of crap. So many people these days just let themselves down with their diet and nutrition. And it's so important, again, you're eating clean. Again, we're not perfectionists, right? But if you're trying to eat clean 5, 6, 7 days a week, you're going to be fine, okay? It's the people that are smashing junk food back every day, high processed food, high processed sugary food. You're going to feel like crap. You're going to have that slump in the afternoon, especially around New York time for us UK traders. You're going to feel crap, okay? And again, it leads you to some of those poor decisions we talked about earlier. Now, temperature, one that a lot of people don't necessarily think about. Temperature-wise, ideally we've seen from the evidence around sort of anywhere between 17, 18 degrees to 25 degrees in terms of room temperature. Any less than that sort of sweet spot, again, it's going to disrupt sleep for other reasons. You're going to be freezing cold. Again, anything higher than that 24, 25 degree mark we've seen from evidence, again, you're going to be boiling, you're going to be tossing and turning, you're going to be sweating, okay? It's going to be really, really unpleasant. And again, that's going to break your sleep for other reasons. So room temperature is something to think about, okay, as well, because a lot of people aren't aware of that. You can get temperature controlled mattresses as well, but, I don't think you necessarily need that. If you can make these subtle changes, then brilliant. Now, light management. So, do you have blackout blinds? Okay. Have you got, if you've got curtains or blinds, are they really trapping and blocking that light out? Looking at things like eye masks as well. I have noticed a difference sometimes when I sleep with an eye mask. I know when I go away in hotels, I don't have it with me, but when I have an eye mask at home, I do notice the difference. I do feel like I'm getting way more, uninterrupted sleep. Okay. So it does make a difference. Blocking out light completely, having a darker room as possible. Okay. And last but not least, things like supplements, okay? Magnesium has a huge amount of evidence behind it. Magnesium, again, has been brilliant in terms of when it comes to sleep studies. And there's different pushes on magnesium, when to have it. Sometimes people are saying half an hour before bed. Some people are saying it's better to have it in the morning. Concluding what I've read, as long as you're getting some form of supplementation of it when it comes to sleep quality, ideally that an hour or two before bed seems to be best, because then it is in your system and it's getting to work. Whereas if you're taking it sort of 10, 15 minutes before, it's not really had a chance to get absorbed properly and get to work. So an hour and a half to 2 hours is sometimes when I typically take it. I have that then with a glass of water, and then that's my fluid intake cut about, again, an hour and a half before bed. So guys, I hope that helps really. It's something that people never really talk about. And I always say to people, if you want consistent results, you have to be thinking about these things. Yes, sleep, only makes up a part of that holistic approach, that profitable long-term edge, but it is something you have to consider, okay? Unfortunately, a lot of people treat trading as a bit of a game because it's easy to get into. It's very thrilling and emotional. That's when you're obviously inconsistent and you can't control this. And people see it as a bit of a game and think, but you need to separate yourself from that. If you want serious results, you need to have a serious plan, a serious system behind you, and sleep health is definitely one of those things, okay? Nobody ever talks about it, and you even just change, I said, one or two of these things that you may be awful at. I know I've been awful and been guilty of a fair few of these things in the past. It can make a difference, okay? Now, if you want to track your sleep score, you can with apps and watches like Whoop, who are really, really good, and it's really, really accurate. So that's also another way of sort of collecting that sort of tangible, objectable data, if you like. But even just making some of these changes, as we mentioned earlier, you will see a difference, because at the end of the day, only you know how you feel inside. Only you know how you feel wake up in the morning. If you are constantly waking up groggy and feeling like crap, there is something in this for you. So guys, I hope that helps, and I hope you found that really, really useful. I'm by no means an expert on this at all, but I thought it was sharing what I do know, and it's worth sharing that, because even a little bit of, even if you've taken one thing away from today and it helps going forward, then this video has been a success. Take care.